Welcome to Popcorn Planet's Diddy Gate coverage. I'm Andy Signore here with It's Kim. And it's yet another day of the Diddy trial is under our belts. Woo, it's getting crazy today. Hecklers in the courtroom on day 15. Kim, how was it for you today? I'm seeing we got a lot of stuff to go through, including his family. But yeah, some hecklers making a scene. What'd you think?
There was a lot of really interesting things today. Very interesting day of testimony. We had a security guard who came in, and all I can say is I think the word of today is going to be RICO law, 100%. And then we did have this kind of weird heckler situation. We also had some drama with influencers. We're going to get into all of it today. But yes, lots of drama, but also I think this was a really good day for the prosecution. But that's just my opinion.
Well, we are here to break it down for you. Thank you if you tuned in on YouTube. Hit the subscribe if you're watching on or listening rather on one of our audio platforms. We're there as well. So nice to have you. Check us out on YouTube as well. We got a lot of fun stuff coming. In fact, we have a cool redirect today. Big new launching, exciting project that's coming. So stay tuned. At the end of the show, we'll give you some more insight on how to follow up. But let's get into it, Kim. A lot to break down. We'll be with you for the next hour. So let's go through it. Day 15. It was a kangaroo court.
Before the jury. It really was.
There it was. So Justin
crazy.
Combs, one of his sons, there we go. It's a little better. Was there. We have a picture here. Who again, these free puff shirts, everything else seemed to be funded by them, as Emily had sort of learned and reported on. It does seem like that's becoming clearer and clearer. Since Justin was walking next to the free puff hoodie hat, was Charlucci Finney, Combs supporter who has described himself to press as a friend of the family. So now Charlucci is going into the court too? Interesting.
Yeah.
Janice also
Sounds
there,
like
Kim.
he's in the overflow room, but and also there, as you were just about to say, I didn't mean to cut you off there. I'm sorry. It's his mom. Janice is back again. We had more Janice.
Love me some Janice and her white nail polish. She looks so happy.
Oh, she looks enthralled. She looks like she's having the best day of her life.
Oh my goodness. I can't imagine having to sit there every day going through all this. But I don't know. I do feel like she's well aware of what her son has been doing and has batted a blind eye, if not helped, in my opinion, conspiracy theory. So, yeah, I'm sure she's not happy given the status of things, Kim. But prosecutors alerted the court about an individual who broke the pseudonym order for Mia. The government said it was in the courthouse Monday and used Mia's real name in the public square. CNN reported that the man referred to Mia by a real name on his YouTube channel. According to a prosecutor, he was also seen recording outside the courthouse on Monday. The judge granted a request from prosecutors to bar the man from the courtroom if he returns. Yeah, that's not a good way to get your news there, is it?
I just want to say right off the bat, this is why I was so annoying about not saying Mia's name. We're not doing it because the court doesn't want it to happen. This is a theme that continues. I also want to say, I don't know who this YouTuber is. I haven't done the legwork into it. I have heard multiple people swear up and down they know it's one person and the next person says it's another person. Don't really want to get into that. Bottom line is we need to respect the court. And that's why I'm breaking it up, because we got to respect what they're telling us.
They want some clout. I'm not giving it to them because...
Exactly.
Listen to the court. We all don't ruin it for the rest of us, moron. That's what
really
frustrates me, right? It's like, if you ruin it for the rest of us, then we all can't get access.
And that's the thing too. Like, I kind of feel like we work really hard. Like Andy and I work really hard at what we do. And we have times where we have fun, we get silly, we have nub club, we have silliness, fine. But I want to make sure that we can continue to do this. And people like this can really screw that up for everybody else. Not cool. Not happy about it. Let's just respect this process. And I do want to stress this because we are going to talk today about the next Jane Doe that is coming. Her identity is also protected. We're going to have these problems probably continuing. And I want to be on the right side of history on this. I want to make sure Popcorn is too. I know, Andy, you're in agreement with me on that as well.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
But it's not just this one in court who's clearly making a scene. There were others I saw, and I'm not going to name them because...
There's more coming.
But there's a lot of, before we even get to those, like there was some yesterday I saw that I don't think they were at the courtroom, but they were still exposing the name. And I don't get what we're doing there. Follow the court orders.
No.
If you want to do something afterwards and take your risk, that's one thing, but don't risk the trial and everything else. It's absolutely absurd. So let's keep moving. The government was in the middle of saying it planned to tell the court's chief security officer about the person who violated the order when there was a loud disruption in the court. That's when we're getting to this disruptor who made a big steam. Of course, Diddy's trials causing all the crazies to come out. A woman could be heard yelling, in part, "Diddy, these mother effers laughing at you." Combs turned around in his seat when the judge directed the officers to remove the woman. "These mother effers are laughing at you." Okay? I mean, some of us are. Some of us definitely are. I guess.
You know what? I'm laughing at Mark Agnifilo. That's what I'm laughing at most of the time. I'm laughing at the duckies. I'm laughing at that stuff. I have no shame. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, some of us are definitely laughing. So while she shouldn't have done that, okay, could have been worse. Heckler escorted from the courtroom said she is Sean Combs' supporter, upset the people in the courthouse, particularly the Overflow room where many members of the public congregate, have been discussing the case out loud. The woman said that she felt people were unfairly mocking the defendant, unfairly, and wanted to make my voice heard. Well, good for you. You only made you and Diddy look crazy. That's what your voice just did. Court marshals worked to calm the woman once they got her outside. When approached by a reporter, she grew irate and began hurling expletives. "I'm tired of seeing everyone treating Diddy the way they are. I said my piece." Oh, jeez.
I do just want to interrupt with that too, because I think it's interesting. And this is just my opinion looking at this information. Thought it was interesting that they got her to calm down, got her outside, and then the press comes up to her and then she gets irate.
Yeah, of course. And
kind of feels
no
like it's trying to
disrespect
get
to the
attention.
YouTubers or press that filmed her. I don't want to look at her. This is all for attention.
No.
Don't give her the attention. I don't want to see the attention. This kind of stuff doesn't help anybody. No thanks. So redirecting, moving to the real news. Prosecutors said they may seek to introduce experts in some of Diddy's recorded jail calls when he was planning a social media campaign around his birthday. We reported on that. Government says that the calls rebut the defendant's implication that Mia Combs must be lying about the alleged because of her social media posts, and support Mia's testimony that she felt compelled to post for his birthday.
He was literally doing it within prison.
Literally got mad at his kids and making sure they're posting on his birthday because that's how important his birthday posts are. My God, what a lunatic. So the defendant views his birthday and social media around his birthday as a marketing opportunity, as an opportunity to change the narrative, prosecutors said. That's factual. We did previously report on that, so wild. All right, well, getting into it. So Eddie Garcia was back. This was the security supervisor who already, I guess, got his immunity deal to protect him so he could be honest and do this. He worked at the Intercontinental when the incident with Cassie happened and used his Fifth Amendment right. He didn't initially recognize Combs or Ventura when watching the video in March 2016 at the Intercontinental Hotel. He told the court that he was later notified of their identities. Garcia also testified that law enforcement was not contacted and was told that Ventura did not request medical attention or police. Christina Karam, chief of staff, ding, 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 ding. Yes, she's coming in.
Number one mention. First one. Keep count. Here we go.
She called the front desk, identified herself as Sean Diddy Combs' assistant, and asked for the footage of him hurting Cassie. Garcia said, so this is interesting. This is now the guard confirming and verifying. Garcia said Coram asked if there was any possible way to get a copy to see. That's ding. Yeah, another one.
Another one.
If there was any possible way to get a copy of the video to see the video, she added that Combs was intoxicated and didn't remember the incident. Oh, okay. Not the same argument that his defense is making. Interesting. Garcia testified that he didn't give Christina Karam
another one
access to the footage. Garcia said he told Karam to contact hotel management or obtain a subpoena. Garcia recalled telling her off the record, "It's bad." Later, he got another call. Karam,
another one,
was on the phone. Diddy then began speaking on the phone. Diddy asked, "Do you know who I am?"
Savage! I'm a savage! Oh! I'm a savage! Whatever I want, I'm going to get! Whatever I want, I have to get!
That's my interpretation of what the phone call might have been like. Garcia said, "Yes, I know you are." Diddy asked for the video. Garcia said he couldn't give it. Good for Garcia. Garcia says Diddy sounded nervous. I bet. Garcia proceeded to email management about it. The email was shown to the court, which showed Christina Karam's number.
Another one.
On the phone, Diddy told Garcia that he sounded like a good guy, that he could help. Oh, God, what a scumbag Diddy is. That something like this could ruin him. Oh, interesting how this is the defense. This is all really exposing everything. He wanted the video. He said if it got out, it would ruin his career. He sure would have. Garcia was clear that he did not have access to the server. Diddy said that he believed Garcia could do it and that he would take care of Garcia, which Garcia assumed meant money. Garcia reached out to his supervisor, Bill Medrano, who said he would do it for $50,000. Wow.
Yep.
Wow.
This is why he wanted immunity. And I'm glad they gave it to him. Because it gets better.
So he can't be charged now. So this supervisor, Bill Medrano, really deserves to get beat up on this one. Garcia called Karam.
Another one.
To inform them, and Diddy said, Eddie, my angel. Diddy said, I knew you could do it. Garcia went to his supervisor who handed him the video on a USB saying, done. Diddy wanted to meet with him immediately and told Garcia to tell others he was on an errand for him. When Garcia, jeez, this is so bad. When Garcia met with Combs to sell him the surveillance footage of Combs hit Cassie, the security officer testified he told Combs he worried police would come looking for it if Ventura filed a report. Combs said, I didn't have to worry about that. Garcia told the jury, then put him on the phone with a woman he understood to be Cassie. Garcia said he overheard Combs tell her, let him know that you want the video to go away too. Ventura told Garcia she had a movie coming out. He told the jury it wasn't a good time for this to come out and she wanted it to go away, the guard said. As part of the deal, I mean, this would have been interesting. Why didn't she testify that she didn't testify to that, did she?
No, but bluntly put, it could honestly be this whole situation would have been incredibly traumatic. I wouldn't be surprised if there's parts of this that her brain was off. I mean, she's recovering at this point from injury too, in all honesty.
Sure. It's weird. I mean, the feds know this story though. It's interesting they didn't have her explain this too. As part of the deal, she wanted to go away, which again, it doesn't mean she's guilty. I'm just saying weird she didn't tell this part of the story.
It's still coercion though. Like right there. That's tampering. That's obstruction. All those things.
As part of the deal to get Combs' footage of the hotel incident, Garcia signed an NDA that called for his silence and the destruction of evidence. According to an NDA presented in court, there were to be no duplicates or footage or stored communication about the incident. Oopsie. When asked if he read through everything before signing, Garcia said, no, I was nervous. Prosecutors asked Garcia why he was nervous around Sean Combs while the two men allegedly struck a deal to sell Combs' security footage of him, Cassie. Hotel guard began to explain his fear of the hip-hop mogul before a sharp objection from defense attorneys halted the questioning. Of course, because he shot Netanyahu, and we know what this guy's done previously. Garcia, who was making $10.50 an hour as a security guard, agreed to the NDA that included a $1 million penalty if it breached it. How is this legal? It's not, by the way.
No,
after Eddie gave Sean a USB drive with the Intercontinental security footage and signed 2 contracts, he testified. Combs stepped out of the room, returned with a money-counting machine and a brown paper bag. Garcia said Combs pulled bills out of the bag, ran $100,000 through the counter, and handed it to him, warning him not to make any big purchases. Yikes! So he's really coaching him too. Garcia, guard at the hotel, testified that he gave 50% of the money to his supervisor, who approved the deal with Combs. $20,000 to another guard, another guard on duty at the time of the incident, Henry Elias, and kept $30,000 for himself to buy a used vehicle. He was smiling, excited. He just looked happy, said Garcia, who added that his own voice kept cracking with anxiety. He said he personally handed a thumb drive with the video to Combs and assured him it was the only copy. Garcia testified that Combs also had text photos of his driver's license as well as his IDs of his boss, another security officer who responded to the incident, so that they were all on the same page, so threatening them. Combs also asked for identification for Garcia's boss, Israel Flores, the one we posted before. Combs says he was nervous because he knew Flores, and he said Flores wouldn't go for it. Good for you. We could tell Flores wasn't like this.
So the first security guard was like,
the hero.
They didn't even go up to him and ask for it because they knew if they told him, he would have been like, no.
Knowing Mr. Flores, he's a very by-the-book guy. That's just not something he would do, Garcia testified. Garcia testified Diddy reached out to him a few weeks after. He said, "Happy Easter, Eddie, my angel. God is good." Oh, I want to vomit. God put you in my way for a reason. And then proceeded to ask if anyone has asked about the incident or the video. Garcia said he told Combs he hadn't heard anything. He ended the call with saying, "If I ever needed anything, to just let him know." Go ahead, Kim.
I did just want to say there was some reporting that said that the NDA was shown to the jury. So the actual document is in the courtroom and it was on company paperwork for Combs. Now, I haven't seen it yet, but I'm wondering if that means, is it on Combs Enterprises letterhead or bad boy letterhead, all that type of stuff. And at that point, like, it's just RICO law. It's just RICO law.
RICO law.
We have seen some of this evidence get released. I wouldn't be surprised if this document gets released. So I will be watching for that. And if it does, I will show you guys, because at that point, it's done.
Wild. Excuse me.
It's done. It's $1 million NDA on bad boy letterhead, potentially.
Morons.
To get rid of evidence of a crime.
Garcia testified that after the video resurfaced in the media in 2024, he spoke to his colleagues, Israel, Flores, and Henry. Garcia was then contacted by law enforcement in June 2024 about the incident, but Garcia testified he wasn't honest about his own involvement in the situation at the time. Garcia deleted messages with Flores and Elias about the situation after that meeting with the investigators. Garcia said he was later appointed his own counsel and met with the government later that year when he disclosed that Combs had paid him for the video. He said he was truthful in that meeting and all the subsequent meetings with prosecutors. So who gave the tape? Who had the tape? Did Cassie get a copy? Do we still know? How did the tape get out? Was it Cassie?
It was the security guard that recorded it on his phone to show his wife.
Well, no, but there's a copy of it that's a legitimate copy. That's
I'm not sure.
That was a separate copy. The one that we've seen is not like a film of a film. It's the copy. I'm still confused. Anyway, someone still leaked a version of it. I guess it could have been that guy, but so then the cross-exam. Defense attorney Brian Steele briefly crossed Garcia, pointing out a line in the NDA, as if that effing matters, that Garcia was not prevented from speaking about the 2016 incident in legal proceedings. This was presumably intended to undermine the government's potential obstruction of justice, one of the predicate crimes that falls under racketeering. Interesting. Prosecutors quickly took up a redirect, however, showing that the NDA requires written notice to the company in those cases. It says this would allow the company to seek options to prevent disclosure. Garcia testified on redirect that he understood the company to be Combs's company. So interesting. This is the RICO law in full effect, which Combs's team clearly knows is trouble and trying to, well, it allowed him to say it in legal proceedings. So that's not, no, good luck. That's not a good defense. Yikes. So, all right, before we get in there, anything else to add? Because that was pretty monumental testimony, no?
Yeah, it was quite a moment. I did think I had a note in here talking about the letterhead. I will try to find that quickly so we can show that to you guys, because I do think that it is quite significant. I feel like this is kind of the moment for me that I was like, can we please stop saying that there's no RICO? Can we please stop saying that this is only DV? What do you call this?
Diddy's a laughing stock. Like, what are you paying attention to? Absolutely.
And I understand people being like, he hasn't been convicted. He could be innocent. If the document was shown in court, this is a crime, what happened here. And it was a part of the business. Christina Karam was in conjunction with Diddy orchestrating this to happen. This is RICO, in my opinion. I don't know how else you look at it. But it's certainly not just a DV situation. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, agreed. And people who keep saying that, I feel like aren't actually paying attention to the case anymore. They've gotten bored and just are reading headlines. So next witness, Derek Ferguson, former chief of finance of Combs's Enterprises. Ooh. After a break, government introduced new evidence. They seized from 2 phones from Christina Karam.
Another one.
Ooh, she's going to talk. They were taken from her during a search at a Miami airport. 24 contacts were published to the jury, including one called Eddie, my angel, friend at the Intercontinental. Oh my God, he's so dumb. He's so dumb. He saved it in his phone as Eddie My Angel at the Intercontinental. So, I mean, as if this wasn't even more confirmed. That's unreal. That is unreal.
Hold on to your butts.
I can't believe he wrote the guard's name in his phone. Eddie My Angel, friend from the Intercontinental Continental. Wow. There was also a photo of the IDs of the device. Bank records. Jeez, from Signature Bank were also introduced. Oh, man, if Christina comes into this, which it sounds like she's going to have to at a certain point, it is done for him. It is done for him. Government called Derek Ferguson, the former CFO at Combs Enterprise, to the witness chair. Ferguson, wearing a suit and tie, said he received a subpoena to appear in court today. He worked for the hip-hop mogul from 98 to 2017. That's a large chunk, including the role of chief financial officer. I mean, this guy should also be arrested, but let's see what you think. He handled budgets and salaries, was involved in deal-making, and at times was responsible for Combs' personal finances. He told the court that he mainly reported to whoever served as president of Bad Boy. At times, there were no president. Ferguson said he then reported directly to Combs. Most of his businesses were profitable, the former CFO said, and Combs drew simultaneous salaries from several of them. At different periods of time, Ferguson testified Combs' personal finances would also be part of his responsibilities as the head of the finance department. Ferguson said most senior executives at Bad Boy Entertainment had American Express corporate cards, including Combs, and that Combs would charge business and personal expenses on his card from time to time. Members of Ferguson's team would determine which business or entity a charge pertained to and then use that business's account to pay off the charge. So, you know, when the baby oil is in there, does that go to personal, Kim, or business at this point? That's a whole separate argument.
Great question. Great question.
I mean, I can relate, you know, as someone who has now a business, like you have to keep track of your business versus your personal. It's a whole part of the accounting process. Ferguson testified that the finance department managed finances for the properties that Combs owned in Miami, Hamptons, New York. He also confirmed that he knew Combs would provide financial support to family and friends through his personal salaries and distributions, and that Ferguson would sit down with Combs at least once a year to review his personal finances. He said the businesses relied heavily on cash, which many performers requested as payment. Many bodyguards carried cash on them in case Combs needed it. However, CNN reported that he said he was not aware that security carried cash for him, saying it was not something I paid attention to. During his tenure, he said there were periods when third parties were engaged to handle Combs' finances. At other times, it was internally managed. Although most of his early testimony had been procedural, it was potentially crucial to the government's case. He's been asked to verify a laundry list of bank accounts, real estate holdings, credit cards, and other financial records connected to the Combs enterprise and confirm that the defendant had signatory power over those funds. Though most of the headline-grabbing testimony so far this trial has dealt with abuse and other incidents, Combs' real problems would be any evidence that he might have run a criminal enterprise to pull off these suspected crimes. Well, yeah, that's clearly. And so I guess maybe this guy didn't really know the extent of it and was just monitoring the cash and playing dumb to where it was coming from or what Diddy was privy to. It doesn't sound like this guy was attending the freak-offs. So then a lunch break happened, right? Open seating in the Overflow room, but this morning crowd there seemed to divide itself into groups. Oh, wow. On the right sat the journalists with their badges around their neck, while most social media influencers and members of the public chose the left side of the room. Two people left the Overflow room loudly during the morning break, yelling, "Let's go viral." Outbursts have been happening more frequently as the trial goes on. There's also a man in a black cap with the words "Free Puff" in the Overflow room, as well as former bodyguard Gene Deal, who has attended the trial sporadically. This is like turning into a party room, it sounds like, more than anything else.
Yep, and they got to reel it in because you should be acting the same way as an overflow room as you are in a courtroom, and people are not behaving the way they are supposed to. So I have questions as to what the heck is going on in there, because I mean, I want this to be a free trial, and I don't know who raised everybody that's in these rooms, but people got to calm down.
Yikes.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah, there's a lot of people just causing chaos for clout. I am not surprised, not naming names, but I'm not surprised. As we covered this Diddy trial, Kim, there's some wild ones. And yeah, that's not what we're doing here. No interest in the drama of it all or the clout of it all. Lawyers have identified a media outlet and another person who has been attending the trial that revealed the true identity of Mia. Mia was one of the victims. The prosecutor asked the judge to bar these people from trial and asked the judge to compel the media outlet to remove the social media posts discussing their identity. The judge said he'd consider requests if they filed it in writing. He also suggested the lawyers propose an instruction regarding Jane and other Combs accusers who will begin testifying under a pseudonym Wednesday. Yeah, look, this is gross, man. The YouTubers who are doing this, shame on them. They're doing it for clout and attention. There's no other reason why you don't respect the court. Whether you believe Diddy's innocent or not, you should believe in a fair trial, and you should believe in and support whatever the judge is happening. It's absurd and ridiculous, and any person out there, shame on them. You're not helping anybody. That's not the way to do this. There are ways to do this professionally, and you're showing you're not professional. In my opinion, that's just gross. All right, Derek Ferguson returned. They showed financial records from the bank, including $20,000 wire transfer from Cassie's father on December 23rd. Ventura's mother previously testified that Combs demanded the family pay $20,000 to keep him from releasing videos. Interesting. So there's the money. There was the money. Wow. From Cassie's father. That came a $20,000 money from Cassie to Diddy, which confirms the threat. That's sickening, man. That is sickening. She also told the court she received the money back. Prosecutors pointed out that two other $20,000 transfers that same month while questioning the former IT. The first was an outgoing transfer to Ventura and another to an unspecified entity. Interesting. CNN expert weighed in. Now, this makes us look back to Cassie's mother's testimony where she was asked by Combs for $20,000 in exchange for not putting out the videos because she was going to hurt. It was going to hurt her if she didn't receive it. Through the company.
So there you have a business transaction through the company that links directly back to what would be considered illegal conduct. But that type of link speaks to the prosecution's case where they say Combs's businesses are really just fronts for this criminal enterprise and racketeering activity committed in furtherance of him and his desires. So this legal analyst is saying we're starting to see the RICO link come to fruition. So here is another instance.
Yeah, and this is important because this is
there we go.
This is the kind of stuff that the free Diddy people aren't paying attention to and are just going to ignore like it didn't happen. But this is crucial stuff.
So my point is, if we need two for RICO, and we've got the NDA and the bribery, and then we have this extortion, all confirmed in documents, are we at RICO? Did we get there today? With just hard evidence that you can't argue. That's it. It's not about how you feel about Cassie. It's not about how you feel about what's happening in the hotel rooms. Whether you feel like there's been a DV situation or not, we've got the documents. They're there.
So on the cross, Mark Agnifilo, Costco lawyer, tried to paint a positive picture of Combs's businesses. Of course, that's all business. It's all dandy, very important businesses. Ferguson has a master's degree from Harvard, grew up working for his father's trucking business, testified that he was attracted to Bad Boy because it employed people of color and tried to empower young entrepreneurs. First and foremost for me, coming from the Bronx, I felt like we needed more companies that really would hire people from the communities that I grew up in. What I observed with Bad Boy and Sean was a company that really gave a lot of young executives opportunities to exploit, it seemed. He then asked Ferguson general questions about Diddy, businesses. He asked the former chief financial officer about his long-term relationship with Diageo, the Lift for Liquor products. Combs mainly oversaw the creative direction, and Diageo, one of the world's biggest drink makers, provided funding. Ferguson said when asked, there was an ongoing tension between Combs and Diageo, right, over the marketing and distribution of the products because they felt the distribution was concentrated in urban areas. Combs filed a lawsuit against Diageo alleging discriminatory business practices, which was settled in 2024. Ferguson was discussing the matter on cross-exam when prosecutors objected to the line of questioning, which ties in the defense's theory that many people treat Combs unfairly due to his race, including the government in their prosecution of him. I'm doing a very big eye roll for people who are listening on podcasts because this is such a dumb argument, in my opinion. Sorry, don't see it at all. Through a weedy stretch of financial testimony, the defense tried to undo prosecutors' portrayal of Sean's businesses as a vast network of cash-heavy enterprises. The debate is central to the racketeering charges against Combs. Ferguson testified that a team went through expense statements each month, determining what was for business and what was for personal. For your entire time, 19 years, asked Mark Agnifilo, did anyone not pay the taxes they were supposed to pay or do something they were not supposed to? Ferguson said he would never have intentionally allowed fraud at the company. Hedge fund capital management, Jeffy Epi,
this is interesting.
Reportedly invested in the same one, came up during former Bad Boy executive Dave Ferguson's testimony Tuesday. The company, which was purchased by J.P. Morgan, owned part of Combs' media company Revolt. Ferguson testified they had a say in a lot of actions of the enterprise. He told the juries. Jeffy invested $10 million into Highbridge.
Yes, this
the
is
Wall
the
Street
name
Journal
of the hedge
reported.
fund. Yeah.
Long-standing ties to billionaire Glenn Dublin. Wow, interesting. He added that he never saw anyone help Combs commit a crime, be violent or non-violent. The prosecution offered a brief redirect of Ferguson, where the former finance officer was asked to qualify his time. The defense questioned him or his observations of criminal conduct or lack thereof. He worked at a New York office and had not spent time in his hotel rooms or private residences. Agnifilo asked Ferguson what he thought of Diddy now. He paused for several seconds and shook his head. I don't know how to respond to that. Wow. Mark Agnifilo, he asked the worst questions because that's not a good answer.
Nope.
I don't know how to respond to that. Meaning it's not good. So why would you even ask it? They're like just shooting darts like, oh, do you like him? What do you think? Is he handsome? What is this? Did you ever like any of his music?
Do you think it's illegal for him to have all the baby oil? Or are we prosecuting people for that now?
What do you think of Jay-Z? They're friends, you know. No? I mean, this is desperation, Kim. Any other thoughts?
It's always my thought with Mark Agnifilo. I just sit there and I ask why. I just ask why. And the why continues after the jury was dismissed.
So let us, recap us. So a lot of drama continued. What happened?
Yeah, so the trial wrapped up at the end of the day. New footage of Combs and Cassie is expected to be shown to jurors tomorrow. In the hotel video, new footage will be shown tomorrow. We're gonna have an expert potentially on the video that will be taking the stand, Frank. So we'll see how that goes. Bana, who claims that Diddy once dangled her over a balcony, is also expected to follow. Now, one of the major witnesses who will testify anonymously, this is Jane, I believe this is victim 2, could take the stand as early as tomorrow afternoon and begin testimony that could last 6 days.
Wow.
Yup. So, Jane apparently dated Combs starting in 2020 and claims that he forced her to have relations with male workers without protection and also viciously hurt her as well. So the exhibits admitted into evidence during Jane's testimony will not be shown on the video feeds for the public. We're expecting her to potentially start tomorrow. We'll see how it goes.
6 days.
6 days. Now, Comey wanted to stop everything from going out into the overflow room. It sounds like what they decided on, and it's kind of been a bit of back and forth. I'm getting mixed information, so it's hard for me to be able to tell you 100% what's going on. But it's like there will be a video feed of her going into the overflow room, but the exhibits will not be shown. And part of the reason of that is that some of it will be rather explicit. So they want to make sure that all of that remains in the courtroom. So there's going to be text messages. There's going to be video. I don't know what's coming, but 6 days, I'm like, that's longer than Cassie.
Yeah.
In total.
Well, and
so
then what about Christina? What about
another one?
I know.
You'd think you'd have 6 days
yet.
for her if she was a surprise witness.
Yeah, nothing about her yet. So Agnifilo then started complaining that they didn't have any of the text messages from Jane. And the prosecutors hit back saying, the texts were produced in Rule 16 discovery, and you've had them for months. So
Oh my God.
no, you have them. You have them. And then
Wow.
Mark goes, and then also the prosecution just said, to be honest with you as well, we're pretty sure that our examination with her is going to go until Monday. So you're not going to have to talk to her or question her until Monday. So you've got lots of time to look through the text messages over the weekend and come up with whatever questions you need. Get your act together. Agnifilo then said they wanted to use the courtroom tonight because they don't want to communicate with Diddy through a screen while they're going over these text messages. So he said, I want the courtroom. And the judge said, okay, well, you're going to need court martials. And then there was a whole back and forth about that. And then they were opposing to the video that's going to be shown tomorrow. The compilation video, they're calling it, which to me, it kind of sounds like it's because the camera angles from the hotel are all different because I think they were motion sensitive, right? So what they've had to do is go, okay, so camera one saw this, and then camera two saw this. So they're compiled together. But they're like, yeah, we don't want that. And they're fighting back and forth about this. Now, the funny thing was, I don't know if you want to hit the where I have it highlighted. I'm not sure if this is shade because I read this and thought, okay, is this the judge getting sassy?
I love sassy judges. We still oppose the compilation video. It would be better if we had the original. And why don't we? It would.
Why don't we have the
been
original
deleted
video?
after 10 days anyway.
Anyway, so the judge is like, why don't we have the full video, Mark? What happened with that? Why was it removed? Why was it deleted? That's a great question. And then Mark goes back and goes, well, it would have been deleted after 10 days anyway, Your Honor. You know, it doesn't matter.
My God. Yeah. That is sassy.
This is why this is why I watch after the jury gets removed, because you get moments like this.
You get
it's like,
real.
I can't.
Yeah.
I can't.
You do get real insight. It's true. And then the judge told him, you can have till 6.
In the
I'll try to
courtroom.
figure it out the rest of the week. For today, you can have it till 6.
I
I'd
want
like
more time.
Everyone else, get out of the courtroom, as will the court. Jeez. Wow.
That's how the
So
day
they let
ended.
Diddy stay in the courtroom with court marshals to sit there and go through stuff. He finally gets a break today. Oh, God, do you think he's doing something gross in that courtroom without anybody in there? Oh,
I don't want to
God.
know.
I guess the court marshals are watching. They're protecting the sanctity of that room. Wow. I gotta say, that was definitely a more exciting day than usual.
Yeah, it was a lot. It was a lot. I had a little party of it in here when the NDA stuff came out. I'm going to make sure I get that for you guys. Part of the problem was I think it was written, we started having issues on X today. So the threads started breaking. And Intercity Press had to start putting like, you can only reply if you're following me. I have to put in all these limitations because everything was it was falling apart. So I have a couple tweets that I've cited that the link is now broken. So I'm going to have to go back and see if I can find it, and hopefully things get repaired. But I will make sure I get you guys that information because it was a lot. It was a lot today.
Yeah,
but as
again,
always, you can't depend on X sometimes.
I still am not. I mean, it seems clear as day that they're proving the RICO law, but I still don't know. I'm not confident yet. All it takes is one person, and there's clearly people out there who are supporting Diddy still, who just don't even care what the evidence is. Or there's the race thing, right? Which someone could just believe, and that's all it takes for one of them to say no. So it's shocking to me that it's such a high success rate, because I would think that's a hard thing to get 12 people to all agree. They have to all agree without doubt. And I don't know, the world's kind of crazy, Kim. So we'll see. But in my opinion,
hear
yes.
What you're saying, but I think what it boils down to is you can, as I've said, and this was part of when we've had all these discussions, and everybody goes, "Yeah, but Cassie wanted it," and that's their reasoning of why Diddy's innocent. Diddy had somebody sign an NDA with $1 million price tag on it to not say anything about a tape that he paid in total $100,000 to make disappear. He had the man in the room with a money counter, watched the money counter go, gave him the money, saved him in his phone as his angel. Like, this happened. There's too many pieces of evidence to say that this didn't happen and they're making it up. It's ridiculous. So this happened. That was bribery. It was destruction of evidence. We've got the proof of the wire transfers when it comes to Cassie and her parents and the extortion attempt. The paperwork doesn't lie. The numbers don't lie. It's black and white at that point.
Well, I don't disagree, but I still don't trust the system. I just don't trust people. There are a lot of crazy people in the world, but I'm curious what you all think. Wrapping up our recap here, but we're not done our live. We still got some things to go through. Get your comments, questions, etc. But make sure you support It's Kim on YouTube at It's Kim, one word. And subscribe here as well. And follow us if you're watching or listening on a platform. Please give us a good review. And if you're watching live, stay tuned, or watching on the replay, check out Popcorned Music. What is that? I'll put it at the end and check it out. We're going to premiere something very exciting today. You're not going to miss it. So stay tuned. A lot more is coming here in the Popcorned universe.